Hey Philly, Timmy Flyers guy here. It is game day. Tonight we got game 4 against the Hurricanes. I'm gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm nervous going in to tonight's game. And I know the whole entire city of Philadelphia, the whole Delaware Valley, every part of Pennsylvania that has Flyers fans is nervous right now. Every part of South Jersey that has Flyers fans are nervous as well. Because Carolina, they're a good team. They're a really good team. And I gotta tell you, no matter the outcome of tonight's game, I'm gonna look back at how the Flyers got here. I'm never gonna forget how this team went on a tear after they were in purgatory from January to February. I remember when they came back from the Olympic break and they went on an absolute tear. Now there were some couple of bumps in the road, minor bumps in the road for the Flyers. But here's how it all went down. I'll never forget how the Flyers I'll never forget Easter Sunday when Paul Martone got his first goal as a Philadelphia Flyer. I will never forget the game against the Winnipeg Jets, where the Flyers absolutely went out there full of piss and vinegar and got the victory over the Winnipeg Jets. I'll always remember how they got into the playoffs, winning in the shootout, getting into the playoffs, and then facing off with the Pittsburgh Penguins. And let me tell you, Pittsburgh gave this Flyers team one hell of a fight. Flyers had a 3-0 lead in that series. Pittsburgh, they fought back. And it all came down to a game 6 in Philadelphia, where both teams were tied 0-0 going into overtime, where Cam York was the overtime hero in that game for the Philadelphia Flyers. Despite what happens, despite the outcome, this Flyers team has done everything that people have done. This Flyers team went the extra mile this season to get into this situation, a situation that many analysts and many people would say the Flyers shouldn't have been in this position. But they are. And we should be grateful as a fan base for that. But this season is not over. Because I do not want to say there's always next season. I do not want to say, well, they had a good run. I don't. Because this is not over. This series isn't over for this Flyers team. Because I know that this Flyers team, they're pissed off. They're angry. They're frustrated. And they're desperate to keep this series going. And I believe that they can keep this series going. But I know in my heart believing and believing and actually seeing them do it are two different things, but it's good to have that belief going into this game. And as a Flyers fan, a man who has seen his fair share of ups and downs as a Flyers fan, I have gone to Flyers games. I have gone to games in the past where this Flyers team played really well and still lost the game. I remember when this team played the Boston Bruins in the 2011 Eastern Conference semifinals. I remember going to game 2 with my dad and seeing the game go into overtime and seeing the Flyers lose in overtime when they were playing a really good game where JVR, James Van Riemsdyk, had 2 goals in that loss to the Bruins. I've gone to games. I've seen blowouts, and I've seen games where this Flyers team came back in the third period to tie it up and then go into overtime in a minute. I've seen games on television. I've seen this team. I've seen Flyers games. I've seen playoff series where they were down 3-0 to the Boston Bruins, and they came back to win it in Game 7. Now, the possibility of that happening, or the probability of that happening to the Flyers, again, it's kind of a long shot, considering that in 2010, the Flyers had guys like Matt Carle, Simone Gagne, Jason Riemsdyk, Claude Giroux, Billy Lano, Michael Leighton, although people probably don't want to be really talking about Michael Leighton considering what happened in Game 6 against the Blackhawks in the Stanley Cup Finals. But like I said, they had guys like Simone Gagne, James Van Riemsdyk, Scott Hartnell, Matt Carle, Claude Giroux at his prime, Dan Porcello, Aaron Asham, being tough defenseman Chris Pronger, and a man who exemplified heart, Ian LaPerriere. So you look at the guys on that team in 2010. The Flyers had a stacked team in 2010. You look at this year, it's a young team. You have young guys like Martone, Bump, Borky, Oliver Bunk. The Flyers are not that team that they were in 2010. They're far from that team. But I do know one thing. This team, this season, has a lot of heart. And they have exemplified that heart when they turn things around to get into the playoffs. That's what got them here. The heart that they exemplified and the hard work that this team exemplified got them into the playoffs. But like I said, tonight's game, it's now or never, it's do or die, it's must win, whatever you want to call it. This game is probably going to be one of the biggest Flyers games of the season, even if they win this game. The next game is going to be one of the biggest Flyers games of the season if they win that second game. The third game, if they, and if they tie it up, then if they somehow force a game 7 of the series, which is a bit of a stretch and a bit of a long shot. But if they do that, that's also going to be one of the biggest games of the season because their season's on the line. Their season's on the line. Even if the Flyers win tonight, their season will still be on the line going into Game 5. If there is a Game 5. But as a fan base, we want there to be a Game 5. We want this series to continue. And I don't want to hear there's always next season, it was a good run, and this and that, because this season isn't over, and this series isn't over. But if it does come to an end, this has been a very exciting Philadelphia Flyers season. But we want the excitement to continue. And tonight, if the Flyers win, the excitement will continue. And the Flyers will live to fight another day. And that's what we want as a fan base. And I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to say it again. I do not want to have to say it was a good run. I do not want to have to say there's always next year. Because I want this season to continue. Not just me, but every single Philadelphia Flyers fan, just like me. All the fans that have a story of how they became a Flyers fan. Because everybody in this city has a story of how they got into Philly sports. Whether it would be the Philadelphia Flyers, the 76ers, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Philadelphia Phillies, or the Philadelphia Union. Every fan in this city has a story of how they became a Philly sports fan. And tonight, this game, everything is on the line tonight for the Philadelphia Flyers. But as a fan base, I want to see each and every one of you get energized, pumped up, and scream like you've never screamed before at a hockey game. Cheer like you've never cheered before at a hockey game. Because tonight, we gotta get pumped up for this game. We don't just have to get pumped up for tonight's game. We need to get pumped up for tonight's game. Because tonight, it's about Flyers hockey. It's about cheering this team on to victory. Even when their backs are against the wall. We need to support our voice tonight. We need to cheer on our voice tonight. Because this could be the last game of the season. But we do not want it to be the last game of this season. We want this series to continue. And tonight, I want to see y'all know that this Flyers team, I know they realize that their season is on the line. And they can't afford to go out there thinking it's not going to happen. They need to go out there. They need to give everything that they have. From the goalies, to the defensemen, to the left wing, the right wing, to the right wing, the centers, from everything. Because tonight, this game means everything, absolutely everything to this city and to everyone who has cheered on this Flyers team and they stuck with this team when they were going through their worst. And when they turned everything around to make this an exciting season. Rush Joy said it best in his video that the Flyers, they owe us an apology. But in my opinion, the best apology that this team can give us is to get the win tonight against the Canes. That is the best way to apologize to the Flyers fans. Effort is a great way to apologize to the fans after what happened in Game 3. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and give up on my team. I'm going to stick with this team from the first period into the third period, and if necessary, overtime. I will stick with this team for the whole game tonight. Whatever happens, I'm not going to go out like a punk. If the Flyers win, I'll be happy. If they don't, then I will show my respect to the Carolina Hurricanes.